Right, let's start off with our first big story. The Federal Road Safety Corps in Lagos is sensitizing Lagosians on safety during the Ember Months. Ivy Kanu has that report.
At each major sport, the team led by the unit commander Chinwendu Iwoha stopped to distribute leaflets, control traffic, and checked if motorists complied with safety regulations. Bus drivers whose doors were left open while on motion were ordered to ensure the doors were shut. The team ran into some drivers who didn't comply with safety rule, which says a child shouldn't sit in the front seat like this man and his family. The unit commander said the public enlightenment is to ensure adherence to traffic laws, especially during the festive period.
There is no myth about Ember Month. It's just our attitude to things. And today being the salad day, a lot of people will go on. People will eat, people will drink, people will do a lot of things on the road. So we have just come out to tell them, no, that is not how life should be. Always advise drivers, parents, commercial boss, everybody, that a child below 12 years cannot sit in front of the vehicle. But most of the time when you tell them, they will start fighting you.
Everyone should be conscious of the other road users, and especially the pedestrian. We have pedestrians, some people are carried away with the situation that we are in now. So they are a kind of lost while they are on the road. So we expect drivers to be more conscious of pedestrians and other road users so that we can have a safe period in this season of Yuletide.
We wondered why no offender was issued with a ticket by the team.
Today is Salah, so we are doing Salah for them. We are only enlightening. Everything is not about ticketing. We don't almost ticket everybody. Even on the days we work, we do enforcement. We still have what we call cautioned offenders. We still caution people. It's not every day that we ticket, no.
The unit commander hinted that it's going to be a continuous exercise aimed at constantly reminding motorists of their role while on the road. Ivy Kanu, TVC News, Lagos.
All right, that's the background. Let's get into the main issue now. Now, with us in the studio is the State Sector Commander of the Federal Road Safety Commission, Lagos State, Hygienist Omije. Hygienist, happy Salah.
Same to you.
And happy Ember Months. We've started now.
Yeah, we've started. We are in it already.
Oh, that's good. And then we also have, besides, we also have in our Abuja studio, we also have the commander, the sector commander in Abuja, or the zonal commander rather. The commanding officer is RS7, Kingsley Agomo. Kingsley, it's good to have you join us. Okay, all right. I'm told he will join us as we get along. Now, Hygienist, let's start it this way. Ember Months, it has become a tag now. Ember Months, whenever you get into September, everyone knows, okay, Ember Months and all of that. Why is Ember Months, or what makes it different from the January or the March or the June, as the case may be?
I think the issue of what's the difference there lies in the state of our mind. It's all about the conception we have. These months are not different from any other months. As much as I also agree that within the last 4 months, you have an increase in the tempo of activities. As the years are winding down, companies are trying to balance their accounts and all those things. Individuals are also taking stock. Thus far, how have I gone, and well, how can I just do to meet up with the set goals and targets for my life? You just see things getting faster, in terms of tempo. But outside that, I think it's just like any other month. The way you eat food in Ember Month is also the way you eat food in January, February. So it's just about some of this increase in the tempos of activities. And for us as road managers, it has always resulted in increase in the number of people traveling, increase in the number of vehicles on the road, which also translates to, in some cases, increase in the number of crashes on our roads.
Okay, we cannot take this away from the culture and the beliefs of the people. It's a myth, but it has formed part of the culture and belief system of the Nigerian society.
Yeah.
So it goes beyond just creating an awareness. You need some kind of behavioral change. How are you going about that?
That's what the whole, if you monitor the FRSC over years since inception, you discover that, yes, because of that myth that you just mentioned, and we are also conscious of it, we now try to sensitize the motoring public and generally Nigerians that myth is not correct. So if you notice, you find out an increase again on our own part too, increase in the tempo of our activities, especially public enlightenment activities. You see us more visible in motor parks and garages.
When it comes to behavioral change,
yes,
it goes beyond just creating awareness.
Yes,
you need
creating awareness. But then again, you also see us now having more workshops, seminars, and all those things. And of course, you need to also note that when issues that have to do with habits that have been formed over years, that it will also take you quite some time before you can completely erase that habit. So it's a gradual thing, and I think people are also getting enlightened that, oh, this means we used to know, have it that through Ember Months there are spirits that come out on the road, they'll suck blood. Now you know better. You grew up with it as a child. We also used to have it that there are drivers that if a crash occurs, the man will just disappear from the vehicle, and just peradventure you are sitting in front and you are touching him as he's disappearing, you too will disappear. You know, we used to have all those things, but these things are changing.
All right, we'll come back to this. Let's give our viewers a perspective to this. Now, Ember Months are the last 4 months in the calendar year. The period is usually characterized by high social and economic activities across the country, and that's what Hygienist has said earlier. Now, during this period, there are heavy vehicular movements on the roads, and this is why most of the road crashes happen at this time of the year.
Road accident is the second highest source of death in Nigeria. It is because of this situation that Nigeria is ranked second highest in the rate of road accidents among 193 countries of the world.
World Health Organization adjudged Nigeria the most dangerous country in Africa. Now, according to WHO, 1 in every 4 road accident deaths in Africa occurs in Nigeria.
This year, Nigeria has recorded monumental tragedies from road accidents involving both the high and the low in society. From the late Minister of State for Labor and Employment, Barrister James Ocholi, his wife and son, along the ever-busy Kaduna-Abuja road, to that of the Chief of Training and Operations of the Nigerian Army, Major General Yusuf Mahmoud Abubakar, on the Maiduguri-Damaturu road. In April, 6 members of the Ekiti State branch of the Nigerian Medical Association, including their driver, died in a fatal motor accident along Abuja-Kaduna Expressway.
Now, the FRSC released statistics on road accidents at the first half of 2012, stating that 1,936 persons lost their lives, a 12.7% reduction from the 2,218 deaths that occurred at the same period in 2011. Now, in 2013, 6,450 Nigerians lost their lives on the roads. In 2010, there were 5,330 deaths and 18,095 injuries from accidents.
All right, so let's ask you, would you say there's been some kind of decrease? If you look at what the figures we just reeled out now.
The figures we've just given, you discover that, yes, there is a decrease. The thing that gets worrisome is that you notice that at times we have it this way, then suddenly again you have it this way, and the graph have not really been consistent.
What's responsible for the fluctuations?
So many factors are there. If you go into in-depth analysis of for which year and for which month, those things where you notice some peculiarities in terms of what really transpired then. You recall last year, which was the case of issue of we had so many cases of tanker drivers and all those ones, the Onitsha, the Lagos incidences and all those ones. Then we now started addressing the tanker drivers, and you notice again, if you notice now, we've had a shift now. We've not had it as we had it then. You also notice that there was a time the roads were really not too motorable. Then we started talking to government, and you notice rehabilitation in terms of those roads and these things. Then you also notice a downward trend as it is like that. So it has been a case of multifaceted, causes, and of course again apply multifaceted approaches to see how you can.
Okay. Yes. We have joining us from Abuja now the Zonal Commanding Officer, RS7, Kingsley Agomo. Kingsley, it's good to have you join us on TVC Breakfast. And let me say happy Salah to you too.
Good morning.
Good morning. Now, let me ask.
I wish you the same.
Thank you. Now, when it comes to Ember Months, there are usually issues of sensitization, like we see your men carrying out in Lagos and even in Abuja and parts of the country generally. If we have to narrow it down, what are the dimensions of this sensitization and their effectiveness over time from your assessment?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I lost you somewhere towards the end. But you talked about the dimension of the sensitization program over time. I want to say that it has been very effective, and we've been able to measure the outcome, and then it has helped us so much in reducing crashes during the festive period. Going forward, this particular period, the Corps is focusing on a lot of issues, to basically address crashes on our highways that are mostly associated with heavy movement of goods and services, and then even human beings. And we are focusing on overloading, worn tires, expired tires. We are also using this same period to sensitize people on speed limiting devices.
Okay, let's delve more into some of those measures you said you are putting in place. For instance, the expired tire measures that you're putting in place. Tell us more about that. We know it exists, and we know it is enforced, but really, is it really working?
Yes. Yes, it's really working. There is a high level of awareness with regards to tires now. Unlike before, both road users don't even know that their tires has an expiration time, and now a lot of people know. And even when they go to buy their tires, they now try to ask questions and try to find out if the tire has expired or not. And from our statistical records, we also noticed over the years that tire burst has caused so much crashes. When you compared with other factors, it has been one of the major factors that has resulted into crashes. So that's why we are focusing on it. Tire burst, tire can expire even when those tires are not used. You can buy a tire or even have a spare tire in your car. If you don't use it and then you think it's still new, by the time you bring it out, you discover that the tire has expired. And we focus not only expired tires, worn tires. This constitutes safety hazards on our highways. So we are actually, trying to let the public understand that they should check their tires, make sure, in addition even to the pressure you put in your tires. All these are important factors every road user is advised to take into consideration.
Okay, let me bring in Ifeanyi here. The Ember Months, you said there are heightened activities and the tempo is usually up, as the case may be. Now, what traffic code is mostly violated this period of times?
Well, like the zonal commander Abuja said, if you see where we are focusing our direction, we notice it because from the statistics we've gathered that this is exactly where it is. you notice that at this period, speed violation is always number one. And that's because people try to, especially our friends in the commercial sector. Now, you have a lot of people that are traveling within this period, which we have established. So the next thing on their own part is, can I just make it fast so that I can go many trips? The man that is running,
make more money.
Yes, Lagos Onitsha. He wants to leave Lagos today, get to Onitsha, and perhaps come back today again, so that he will be the first person to load again tomorrow. Some try to see, can I do 2 trips in a day or that long distance? So you discover that overspeeding have always been the most prevalent cause of crashes within this period. After overspeeding, you now look at the issue of overloading. Now, they are still related. There are a lot of people traveling with all the goods. Some even pack their houses as if they are not coming back again, including spoons and pots. Then the man wants to carry, because the more load he is also carrying. You know that the fare for loads is different from the fare for you as a passenger. So he is also picking more loads. So you discover that overloading is very prevalent also. And then the third in that order of hierarchy will be that, okay, because he wants to be fast and he does not want to get tired, then he needs stimulants to keep him alert. So he goes into cola nuts, he goes into bitter cola, he goes into alcohol beverages and some other drugs that can keep him alert without getting tired. Yeah. So you see the way it works. So in the midst of, along the line, he misses out something. That men at their very best, they are still men. As long as you are this woman's body, at a point in time, you will get tired. So the man is driving, perhaps in the second trip, is always very feeling sleepy. The cola nuts are no longer working. The bitter colas are not, the long sweet sticks are no longer effective. And the man now doses up momentarily, and that's how
anything happens.
Okay, you might be able to check that of overloading, really.
Yes.
For instance, okay, you are not meant to take more than 5 people. The person can take just 5 persons and go fast and come back. How do you check that? Because what's perhaps they call round tripping in the financial world, where you can go fast and come back again, not overloading, but how many trips? Maybe is there any check in place to determine how many trips a particular vehicle can go in a day? Do you get to do that?
You don't bother yourself about how many trips he can go. What you bother yourself is that your trip, are you doing it within the stipulated ambit of the law? For example, if you do not overspeed and you keep your vehicle on 100 kilometers per hour constantly and you are going to Onitsha, my sister, there's no way you can leave Lagos and get to Onitsha and still come back again. For you to go back to Onitsha on 100 kilometers per hour, how many hours do you really require? With the state of the road, with the rehabilitation work that is going on in all these major federal highways, where you be slowed down, you have to be diverted and all those things.
What if you go in a day and the next morning again you are, perhaps the person is still tired? Won't that boredom set in at some point?
Why not? It will, and that is why we keep on talking to them. For you, there is no way, I wouldn't put anything on your face to know, I saw this. But remember that even if you use the vehicle number to track, okay, the man that drove the vehicle today, for example, there are some companies who are safety conscious that the vehicle you see being driven today by Mr. A, tomorrow it will be Mr. B that will drive it. So if you use vehicle number, you will miss it out. And if you are using face, I don't know whether you will still be there at that point in time. You are not there to go and be looking for that same face to know whether the same person will pass. But human beings being what they are, if you take a trip from Lagos to Onitsha, park after discharging, you park, you rest, you don't go and hang on beer parlors and all those things. You are definitely going to wake up tomorrow again fresher for you to also continue with your job.
Right. Okay, let me bring in Kingsley in Abuja studio. Kingsley, sometimes when like we played a report not long before you came on, and a driver wasn't putting on his seatbelt. He has a child in front. And when he was stopped, he was still stubborn and was still arguing with the... How do you handle stubbornness and attitudes from drivers in that kind of circumstance?
Thank you very much. There is a major issue, and we've been trying to speak to them, and we're trying to talk to their conscience, and then we're trying to sensitize them. It's totally wrong for you to drive on our highways. It's wrong. It's against the law for you to drive without wearing your seatbelt. And also, it's even more dangerous. People think they're trying to be too nice to their kids. Some carry them on their laps, so keep them beside in front seats, and I think they are endangering that child. They're endangering the life of that child. And that's also part of our safety campaign on child safety. The parents should ensure that their kids, are at the back of the seat with, on their buckled with their seatbelts. While the adults, no matter how short the distance is, you need to. It's important you wear your seatbelt. If you think the distance is too short, that you don't need to wear your seatbelt, we advise you walk it. You should just take a walk and walk it instead of driving. So once you are behind the wheel, it's important. Even a pregnant woman at the point of delivery, it's safe for her to wear and buckle her seatbelt.
Okay, let's talk about the one of the measures we learned that you put in place called the passenger's watch. Is that in place yet?
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, the passenger watch is in place. Is a situation where we want to carry people along. We want everybody, even the passengers, to take ownership of that trip. Not being complacent. Sit in the vehicle, you don't bother what the driver is doing, it doesn't concern you. It should concern you because your life is at stake. It's only one driver, and you have, depending on the type of vehicle, 5, 4, and so everybody should be able to caution the driver. And then if there is need for you to put a call across to FRSC, please do that while being moved from one location to the other. The public, they are aware that FRSC has a toll-free number, which is 122, that you can call. It's on every same network. You can use any network and get us, and it works 24/7. So we'll be able to try to track the driver down. So your safety while you move from one location to the other, you should not leave it in the hands of a driver.
Okay, can you roll out the cases where some passengers have just been unnecessarily mischievous just to report to the driver? Is it possible?
No. The truth is, in
yes,
that vehicle...
Yes,
Okay, Kingsley should answer that. When you answer that, then certainly,
we'll
I know because you are in different cities, so you have different answers as far as that is concerned. Kingsley, go ahead, answer that question if you heard Busalami.
Yes, there's a very good case. This one just yesterday. A friend of mine was traveling to the east, and somewhere he called me that the driver was overspeeding, and the driver was that the tires of that vehicle was worn out. So he was so scared, and even to a point he said, "Please help and pray for me." I said, "We'll pray for you, but we'll try and make sure that that man does not kill you." I asked him, "Where are you people?" And he told me they are just getting to Ajokuta, that they're just about passing Ajokuta, And I said, if you meet a road safety team on the road, please, could you just tell the man that you want to ease yourself or you want to do something, then you can draw their attention to them. And then I also tried to ask him, do you know the vehicle number? But he doesn't know the vehicle number because he's already inside the vehicle at that particular time. So it's also important, if you enter a vehicle, try to know the number of the vehicle, try to know the make of the vehicle, so that when you put a call to us, we can be able to put a call to our team that are on the road and describe the vehicle, the make of the vehicle, the number of the vehicle, so that when it gets to them, it's be easier for them to get to stop the vehicle and then caution the driver, and then, or if necessary, issue the driver with a ticket.
Okay, all right.
Yes, I think we seldom get false alarms in this regard. You know why? You are not the only person there. So if you raise a false alarm and eventually the man is apprehended, you are one person out of perhaps a 14-seater bus. and everybody there will now start, where a situation where everybody is now shouting on you, so it's not true, it's not so. The man is also conscious of the fact that, look, there are witnesses. So if you say somebody is doing something and you cannot substantiate it, and every other person is saying, so you discover that more often than not, we don't get a false alarm. But what is really common is exactly what the General Commander RS7 described. I also got a call. The man was going from Abeokuta to Songota. Now, but the time I started, he cannot give me the number of the vehicle. He cannot, he could not just describe even the color of the vehicle he is in. So at that point in time, it becomes very difficult to really implement.
Okay.
Yes.
If you're just joining us, and we have with us in the studio the Lagos Sector Commander of the Federal Road Safety Commission, Ifeanyi Omije, and
Hygienist Omije.
Hygienist Omije.
You want to do another baptism?
I was giving you a Salah name.
No.
Don't mind me about that. And in our Abuja studio, we have the Zonal Commanding Officer, RS7, Kingsley Agomo. Now, we were giving you a background to some information about road safety earlier on. Now, Federal Road Safety Commission, the FRSC, says more than 11,436 persons died as a result of road accidents in Nigeria between 2004 and 2014 and 2015.
Yes.
What's wrong with me today? All right, now, those are some of the statistics. Now, let's come to the issue of hygiene. Let me ask you this. Sometimes we see there are concerns or arguments sometimes as to whether members of the FRSC have the right to mount roads that are not trunk A roads sometimes. We've seen arguments sometimes, especially when the lawyer is involved. I've witnessed that sometimes, where some of your men are challenged. You don't have the right to be on this road. This is not a trunk A road, as the case may be. Tell us about that when it comes to the right of which road you're supposed to be and all of that.
I think anybody that is putting up that argument is just doing it out of sheer ignorance. That's the way I want it. If you pick the FRSC Establishment Act 2007, clearly there, the Federal Road Safety Corps has a mandate to operate on all public roads. Emphasis, all public roads. So if there is any road that you built, that you are the only person that is using it, your wife do not use it, your children do not use it, none of your friends visit you through that road, you are the only one that routes it, maybe we can call that a private road, but I don't think there's any road like that. So as long as that road is being used by members of the public, FRSC has a mandate to be on those roads. It's sheer ignorance for somebody to say, this is not a federal highway, what are you doing here? This is a local government road, this is a state road. It's all ignorance. Because let's balance the argument here. Do crashes occur on state roads and local government roads? Yes. If it does, the constitutional mandate of the FRSC is to prevent or minimize crashes on our roads. So if we do have crashes on state roads and local government roads, where did you get the theory that they should not just be on those roads? I think it's just your ignorance. I know that in Lagos there was a time we had it also hot like that, and you discovered that it was all political divide. It's just about politics and things like that. And any lawyer who calls himself a learned colleague and comes to say you are not supposed to be here, then the person should really go and check his books again.
Or even maybe the Constitution, as the case may be. All right, now let me come to Kingsley in here in Abuja studio. Kingsley, the issue of overloading, Hygienist was mentioning that earlier. In some of the public buses from Abuja to Kaduna or to Sokoto or to Benue, as the case may be, we often have loading of people where you're supposed to have about 4 people sitting. You have 5 persons sitting down in a bus and so on. People are not comfortable. What is the role of road safety in ensuring that the number of persons who are supposed to be in a bus are in the bus?
FRSC over the years, we've been working closely with the National Union of Road Transport Workers, and we've tried to advise them, even at the loading points at the motor parks, to ensure that vehicles are not overloaded. Like you mentioned, is worrisome, is something that bothers FRSC so much, and we are doing everything within our powers to ensure that vehicles are not overloaded. we've seen cases where vehicles that are supposed to carry goods, carrying cow, and you see human beings, on top of those vehicles. Well, what we do when we stop such vehicles, we don't allow them to continue with that trip. We ensure that they discharge some of those excess luggages. It is a high risk. Both on the vehicle, it affects the lifespan of the vehicle. It affects the way the driver can maneuver the vehicle on the highway. So overloading is totally unacceptable. Every vehicle has a specified number of passengers that vehicle is supposed to carry. You see people, sometimes there are some vehicles, when you stop them, you won't even know who is the passenger. The man that is sitting on the driver's seat is not even the driver. And we've noticed in some routes along Abuja, going towards Jos, and then Akwanga, and then going toward Bauchi. We see all those smaller vehicles. They are fond of carrying a lot of passengers, even in the front seats, that the driver is no longer sitting on the driver's seat, and then he's perching in between the passenger seat and then the driver's seat. And there's someone else, a passenger is on the driver's seat. So this is a road hazard. And when we stop them, we definitely give the driver a ticket. And in most cases, we even had to ask the passenger that are on the overloaded side to come down off the vehicle. So some people see it as being hard or being wicked, but what we are trying to do is to save their life, because there's no way a driver can be able to control the vehicle or maneuver the vehicle in terms of emergency if the vehicle is overloaded. And like I said earlier, it affects the lifespan of that vehicle.
Okay, all right, Hygienist, tell us about drunk driving. What is the Commission doing about that to prevent that, and of course to manage or detect even, because some people are very good at masking the act of being drunk.
Well, in recent times we've really been doing much, and over the years we have also been doing some. But in Lagos, for one, last year we had a very good support in this regard. One of our stakeholders gave us some breathalyzing machines, which we can use to not only detect but preserve the evidence for you to be able to successfully prosecute such a driver in the court. Because one thing is detecting, another thing is ability for the instrument or the device to preserve that evidence. Because if I test you now and you are drunk and it is above the legal limit.
What is the legal limit?
0.05. If it is above
like
the blood alcohol, you want to measure, measure it.
Because ordinarily, some people will just take a bottle of beer and you think it's fine. But sometimes you watch movies abroad. If you just had a glass of wine or 2 glasses of wine, you say, no, you can't drive. You're drunk.
Well, that's a movie.
But whereas in Nigeria, it's just you're just starting really with just 2 glasses of wine.
The thing is, what we measure is the blood alcohol concentrate, and it is always measured in liters. That is, you say 0.5 millimeters per, liter of blood. So it's not something you will go and start taking. And again, what makes somebody also tipsy differs.
Okay.
There are people that will take a glass, they are already, and there are others that will take one bottle, nothing will really happen. Okay. But the thing is, the breathalyzer helps you. It's a calibrated instrument already that the moment the person breathes through it, it will be able to give you what is the blood alcohol concentrate at this point in time. And if it is positive, you yourself, you see it is positive, it brings the figure. Some of them will tell you that by color a change in the crystals that is in the device, which you now match with the color code you have also by the side of it. You'll be able to
tells you the percentage of
exactly
alcohol.
To tell you the percentage of alcohol. But the one we got last year actually have the ability of testing and it stores it. You can even download it in your design, and also have the ability to print it instantly with all your details in it, your driver's license, your vehicle number, and everything. It prints it immediately. Then you can now prosecute such a person.
Okay.
So that's what we have been doing,
Okay.
and we just created a special team for it. I call them DUI, Driving Under the Influence Patrol Team, and their own is to randomly stop people, test them, and if it is positive, that's the end of the job.
Now, let me come to Kingsley here. We're still on the issue of drinking and driving, or drunk driving, as the case may be. Now, if there's a device where they breathe into, the issue of the hygiene of using the same device for more than one person, how is that taken care of?
The gadget is you don't need to use the same gadgets, for every other passenger. Once you've used one, is disposable, and you rather keep it, for further, if you want to prosecute the person, or the person is trying to contest it. So we don't actually use one particular device for other passengers. We are aware of the health hazards. So we don't normally ask you when you finish, you now say, let us clean it and then use it for another person. They are disposables that you use for a particular driver, and then you just put it away. Whether it's positive or not, if it's possible, we can now keep it, in case you want to prosecute the particular driver. But if it's not positive, you just put it away. Like the sector commander said, drunk driving is outrageous. The person has lost his total sense of control. So there's no way the man should be behind the wheel. And some passengers that are in the car, you don't even need a breathalyzer for you to know that the man is drunk. You will see that the man is totally misbehaving behind the wheel. Most times when we stop them, it takes so much time for you to bring him under control. So I advise every passenger, once you notice that the man is behaving abnormal, you should be able to take your life in your own hands, your own safety. Don't allow yourself to be in a vehicle that you are very sure. There's nobody that will tell us that if you are in a car, you don't even need someone to come and tell you that the man carrying you has lost his, you see it, he's smelling alcohol, he's totally, he has lost control, he doesn't do all the safety measures, he tries to violate it, and those are the ones that overspeed, those are the ones that are involved in the lane discipline, they leave their particular lane and form another lane, even at a point where they are the only person, and that point, at traffic lights, you see a passenger with just a vehicle waiting for the traffic light to signal him to continue. Another man comes and parks beside. So drunk driving is something that all hands needs to be on deck. Every passenger in a vehicle. Once you dictate or you feel that this driver, draw the attention of our men. Like I said, your question is. Totally, we don't use that same gadget on all the drivers.
Okay.
All right, Kingsley, still, let's talk about the prosecution. What is the penalty, really, if you're caught drunk driving? What, do you go to jail? Do you pay fines, or what?
You can pay fine, but during this festive period, we also have mobile courts. And once we take you to court, it is not within our powers to decide. It is now left for the magistrate, to take that decision, whether he will now give you option of fine or decide to give you, put you behind the bars, or both. So that discretion is totally for the magistrates to take. But like what we keep saying, it's important that the driver stays alive. It's important that you avoid all those beverages. It is not good both to your health and to your concentration behind the wheels.
Okay. Now, hygienists, before we leave or before we wind down this segment, from October the 1st, the FRSC is supposed to be launching a speed limit device, as the case may be. Can you tell us more about that?
I don't think it's supposed to be launch. It's enforcement that's going to now start. We've been on this for long. And the device is just an electronic device that, if properly installed on the vehicle at a preset speed limit, if the driver accelerates up to that speed that he has been set, no matter how he presses the accelerator, the vehicle cannot go beyond that specified speed limit. I'll give you an example. On our expressways, the highest speed limit by law for a commercial bus is 90 kilometers per hour. Now, if you set the device at 90 kilometers per hour, it does not matter how the driver presses the accelerator, can go beyond 90.
Okay, so
and the whole essence
it
is
becomes mandatory for people to get a device.
Yes.
For
now, is a phased approach. The first phase is commercial fleet operators, and taking the commercial fleet operators is like saying we are just taking the weighty matters first.
Okay.
Weighty matters in the sense that each time we have crash on the road and involves commercial fleet operators, the casualty figures are always higher than when it is involves a private car. So. Well, every commercial fleet operator, come October 1, we expect that some have already started complying. And
all right.
Enforce it.
Hygienist Major, sector, state, Lagos State Sector Command.
No.
I'm not rebaptizing
him.
Hygienist, thank you very much for coming on TVC Breakfast. We also thank you, Kingsley Agomo, Abuja Zonal Commanding Officer of RS7. Thanks for joining us on the program.